Now, you all have lots of diabetic patients in your practices. They come in every day. When we've got somebody like Sue coming into our practice, she's not coming in as a diabetic. She's coming in as a person with a list of problems, and our job is to help her manage that. So Sue's been to her doctor. Her doctor said to her, your HbA1c is 7.8. It's not good enough. You've got to lose weight. You've got to change your medication. You've got to exercise more. She thinks she's been doing all those things. So she comes to us and says she doesn't understand what she's doing. She doesn't understand what she's doing wrong. So in a rating of a HbA1c of 7.8, you would think that that's bad all the time, but Sue thinks she's doing a good job. A 3-monthly reading of a HbA1c of under 7 is how they measure patients. Sue doesn't understand that. All she knows is she's got to lose weight, she's got to take her medication. But if Sue knew when her blood sugar was doing the things that it's doing and how to change those things, would that be useful to her? I think it would. It would also help her to understand and to take control over her own condition so that we're empowering her to take care of herself rather than just giving her some medication. But if you can introduce some structured self-blood glucose monitoring at times that matter, then it will tell you things that the HbA1c will not. So HbA1c will tell you what your hyperglycemic levels are, but it won't tell you all these other things. It doesn't tell you the effect on glucose, on meals, on physical activity, on other stress reduction techniques you might do, or on medications that you might be taking. And it also won't tell you when you're hypoglycemic or what your postprandial glucose is doing. So somebody might be having a really low overnight and not understand how that's happening. Whereas if you're going to do a bit of monitoring in a structured way, you can actually tell what's influencing her blood glucose and why. So the solution for that is to do the monitoring at the right time. So most people will not know what a postprandial glucose reading is. I think it's 10 minutes after they've had a meal. And we all know it's 2 hours to be able to get a definitive, useful reading, but they don't know that until somebody tells them that. So if you can tell them about the right time, the right frequency, and what other situations they might want to use to do their blood glucose monitoring, it becomes a much more useful tool rather than being the painful and sometimes expensive exercise that they really don't like to do. It becomes something that gives them the power to control their own condition. It's a 7-point thing. That is the point where you tend to meet a bit of resistance when you're talking to them. I need you to take 7 tests over the next 3 days. But if you can tell them that this will tell you a lot more about what's going on, and it is only for 3 days, you will meet some resistance from doctors too, or we certainly have. But it definitely does make a difference in their patterns. So it's very simple. It's before breakfast, 2 hours after breakfast, before lunch, 2 hours after lunch, and then before bed. So you're getting a really clear picture of what their blood glucose is doing in the day. More importantly, they're getting a really clear idea of what their blood glucose is doing. So they know that they can monitor on the other side what they're actually eating and the activity level that they've done for the day. And they can come into you, whether or not you do this using their machine yourself and talking to them about what they eat if they forget to bring it back, like Charlie says, because they do forget to bring it back. But if you can say to them, go away, fill this out, bring it back, and then sit down with them, it's like a light bulb goes on. They understand that, they're eating well. They have cereal and fruit for breakfast, but they have 7 Weet-Bix and half a punnet of strawberries, and then they have toast and jam, or they have a Hobbit second breakfast later on because they're hungry, and they don't understand that the choices of food that might seem to be good for them, they're just not understanding that they have to modify that. If they can see the effect that the glucose is having on that the meal's having on their glucose, and then maybe if they go for a walk and they can control that, it empowers them greatly.